On the Eastern Front of WWII, the war was fought not just by armies, but by individuals in a deadly personal duel. Forget the massive tank battles. The most terrifying threat on the battlefield was often unseen, unheard, and absolutely precise. The sniper. The Soviet Union, unlike Germany, systematically trained thousands of snipers, including hundreds of women, turning marksmanship into a national weapon. These snipers, armed primarily with the Mosin Nagant rifle, were masters of patience and camouflage. They were not aiming for victory. They were aiming for psychological collapse. A single unseen sniper could paralyze an entire sector. An officer stepping out of a trench, a cook lighting a fire, a machine gunner reloading. One clean shot and the immediate terrifying message was sent. You are not safe, even behind your lines. The sniper war was a war of nerves, draining morale and forcing troops into a constant state of fear and paranoia. The legendary battlefield for this new kind of warfare was Stalingrad. Amidst the rubble and ruins, snipers became as famous as generals. The most legendary Soviet sniper was Vasily Zaitsev. Zaitsev, a young man from the Ural Mountains, turned the ruins of the city into his hunting ground. He alone credited himself with over 225 confirmed kills during the battle. But his most famous duel was a desperate multi-day game of cat and mouse against a perceived German master sniper, a character often identified as Major Erwin Koenig. This was a pure psychological war. 3 days of waiting, analyzing shadows, and tracking the smallest movements. The duel between Zaitsev and Koenig became propaganda for both sides, a symbol of the larger war. Zaitsev's eventual victory, whether completely factual or partly myth, established the sniper as the ultimate individual hero, or the ultimate villain. It showed that in the chaos of total war, a single person with a rifle could change the course of a local battle. The most successful snipers were often women. Lyudmila Pavlichenko, known as Lady Death, amassed an astonishing 309 confirmed kills, making her one of the most effective snipers in history. Her story highlights the brutal equality of the Eastern Front, where gender offered no protection and required no compromise. Pavlichenko was ruthless, meticulous, and incredibly calm under pressure. She understood the psychology of the hunt, waiting for days in freezing conditions, relying on a partner, spotter, and enduring the sight of the enemy's final, silent moments. Her battlefield injuries eventually brought her off the front lines, but her fame became a powerful propaganda tool for the Allies. She traveled to the U.S. and even met President Roosevelt, using her raw, unvarnished testimony to shock the Western world into recognizing the savage nature of the war being fought by the Soviets. The Germans fought back with their own highly trained counter-snipers and aggressive tactics. The key to surviving a sniper was not finding him, but finding his position. This often meant sacrificing a soldier to draw fire and reveal the muzzle flash, a chilling, brutal tactical choice. The true, uncut story of the sniper war is the extreme ethical and psychological toll. These soldiers were not firing at abstract targets. They were watching men die through a tiny lens. The moral weight of these close-quarters kills, performed often from less than 300 yards, led to extreme rates of PTSD and psychological collapse among both Soviet and German snipers. They were heroes to their own side, but executioners to the other. The legacy of the Eastern Front sniper redefined military thinking. It proved that precision firepower, in the right hands, is a force multiplier that transcends sheer numbers. Their story is a powerful, grim reminder that even in the largest war, death often arrives with a silent, single shot. This has been War Stories Uncut. Subscribe now and hit the bell.